2 videos ago, this corner fully recovered after 8 weeks of intensive work. Last video, I stopped everything for 6 weeks and found out it declines, but it doesn't collapse. There's real staying power built into soil that's actually been rebuilt, not just fed. So now there's one question left that actually matters for anyone who isn't filming a documentary series about their backyard. What's the least amount of work I can do and still hold this corner steady? Not the full protocol, not total neglect, the actual minimum. That's what this video tests. I think this might be the most useful video in the entire series, and I say that as someone who's now made 8 of these. Every previous video answered a question about what works. This one answers a completely different kind of question, not what works, but what's actually required. Those aren't the same thing, and the gap between them is exactly where most people's real gardening lives happen. Here's the situation heading into this test. This corner is currently sitting 6 weeks into neglect in the moderately declined state the last video documented. Worse than its peak, nowhere near back to the dead soil that started this whole series. That's my actual starting point, and I think it's a more honest one than restarting from peak recovery because it reflects where real gardens actually sit, not perfectly maintained, not abandoned, somewhere in the middle. From this starting point, I'm applying what I'm calling a minimum viable maintenance schedule for the next 6 weeks. One modest compost application, applied once at the start of this test instead of the repeated feedings from the original 8-week protocol. One mulch top-up, applied the same day, replacing what had thinned out during the neglect period. And watering that splits the difference between the 2 prior tests, not the careful frequent schedule from the intensive recovery, and not pure rainfall only, but an occasional deep watering during any unusually dry stretch, roughly what a reasonably attentive but busy person might actually manage. I want to be specific about why I chose exactly this level of effort and not something lighter or heavier, because the whole point of this test falls apart if the maintenance level is arbitrary. I looked back at what this series has already proven. The mulch video showed shredded leaves alone provide meaningful moisture retention without any watering help. The neglect video showed 6 weeks of literally nothing only produced moderate decline, not collapse. So the logical next step down from full neglect isn't the full original protocol. It's the smallest nudge that might be enough to reverse the decline curve instead of just slowing it. One feeding, one mulch top-up, occasional water. That's the hypothesis I'm testing, not a compromise I landed on by guessing. I tracked this exactly the way every test in this series has been tracked. The handful test and jar test at regular intervals, and a final planting comparison at the end, this time against 3 reference points instead of 2. The original dead soil from video 1, the peak recovery soil from video 7, and the 6-week neglected soil from video 8. 3 points on the same line, so this result actually means something in context instead of floating on its own. Chapter 1. Why this question matters more than any other in this series. I want to slow down before getting into results and explain why I structured this test the way I did, because I think the reasoning matters as much as the outcome. Every video up to this point has answered a version of the same question: what does it take to fix dead soil? That's a valuable question, but it has a hidden assumption baked into it. Once you know the answer, you'll actually do it, consistently, indefinitely. Video 8 complicated that assumption in a good way by showing the fix doesn't fully unravel the moment you look away, but it left the practical question unanswered. Knowing that neglect only causes moderate decline is reassuring. It's not the same as knowing what to actually do on an ordinary weekend when you have 20 minutes in a bag of compost and you're deciding whether it's worth the effort. That's the gap this video is built to close, not the ceiling of what's possible with maximum effort, and not the floor of what happens with zero effort, but the realistic middle that determines whether an average person with an average amount of time can actually keep a garden corner like this alive long-term without burning out on it. I'll admit something else too, because I think it's honest and probably relatable if you followed this whole series.
Filming 8 weeks of intensive treatment back in video 7 was genuinely demanding. Daily attention, careful measurement, a real-time commitment layered on top of everything else in my life. If that's what soil health actually requires forever, I'm not sure I could keep recommending this approach to anyone with a job, a family, or frankly any life outside their garden. This video is partly me checking whether the thing I've spent this whole series building is something a normal person could realistically sustain, or whether it only works for someone filming a documentary about it. There's a version of this test that would have been easier to run and less useful to you, starting fresh from peak recovery and applying light maintenance from there. I deliberately didn't do that. Starting from the 6 weeks neglected state means this test also answers a second question nobody's asked yet. Can a light touch not just maintain soil, but actually pull it back from a real decline? That's a more demanding, more honest test, and I think it's the one that actually matches how most people find their gardens most of the time. Not at their best, not abandoned, just a little behind.
Chapter 2. Weeks 1 through 3, the first real signal. I applied the single compost dose and mulch top-up on day 1 of this test, then stepped back into the same light-touch rhythm I'd be asking any real gardener to follow, checking in, not hovering. By the end of week 1, the visual difference was already more noticeable than I expected from a single application. The mulch layer, freshly topped up, was doing what shredded leaves have done throughout this series, holding moisture and moderating the soil surface underneath it. The handful test showed texture slightly improved from where the neglect period had left it, though still a step behind the peak recovery result from video 7. Week 2 included one of the occasional deep waterings built into this minimum schedule during a stretch that would have gone completely dry otherwise. That single watering, combined with the mulch already in place, seemed to do a disproportionate amount of work. Moisture at depth held steady through the following days in a way that echoed what the 4-day dry stretch in video 8 showed about mulch alone, but with an added boost from the deliberate water. By week 3, the jar test showed the organic band had stopped thinning and had actually begun to thicken slightly compared to the measurement taken right before this test started. That's a meaningful early result, worth sitting with for a second. This isn't just slower decline, this is the decline curve reversing direction off a single compost application and one mulch top-up 3 weeks earlier. Worm activity told a similar story. The handful count had dropped to 6 worms by the end of video 8's neglect period. By week 3 of this minimum maintenance test, that count was back up to 8 worms, not yet at the 9-worm peak from video 7, but moving decisively in the right direction and moving there faster than I expected from this modest a level of input. I want to name something about my own reaction filming this stretch because I think it's relevant. I kept expecting to need to intervene again, to add more compost, to water more often, to do something. The whole discipline of this test was resisting that urge and sticking to the minimum I'd committed to at the start. It turned out to be a different kind of hard than the neglect test in video 8. That one required doing nothing when I wanted to help. This one required doing almost nothing when the early results made me want to help more than planned, convinced that a little extra effort now would surely be better. I didn't act on that instinct because testing the actual minimum only works if you hold the line on what the minimum is.
Chapter 3. Weeks 4 through 6, where the recovery actually landed. Weeks 4 and 5 continued the pattern from the first half of this test, with the same light rhythm, no additional compost beyond the single dose from day 1, no further mulch top-ups, just the occasional deep watering during genuinely dry stretches, twice more across these 2 weeks. By week 5, the handful test showed a texture that side by side with my week 7 peak recovery notes was difficult to distinguish without checking my written measurements directly. Dark, crumbly, holding together in a loose clump rather than crumbling to dust or clumping into mud. This was the moment in this test where I started genuinely reconsidering what I thought the relationship between effort and outcome actually looked like in soil work.
Week 6, the final week of this test, brought the most direct comparison point available, the jar test, run side by side against a saved sample from the exact endpoint of Video 7's peak recovery. The organic band on the minimum maintenance sample measured within a narrow margin of the peak recovery sample, not identical, but close enough that I'd call this corner functionally recovered again, off a fraction of the original effort. Worm activity by week 6 reached 9 per handful, matching the peak count from Video 7. I checked that number twice because it genuinely surprised me. 1 compost application, 1 mulch top-up, and occasional watering over 6 weeks produced a worm population matching 8 weeks of intensive repeated treatment. I want to be careful here and not overstate what this does and doesn't prove, because I think precision matters more than excitement at this point in the video. This result doesn't mean the original 8-week protocol from earlier in this series was unnecessary. This corner had already been through that full intensive process back in Video 7 before ever being neglected or lightly maintained. What this test actually shows is something more specific, and I'd argue still very useful. Once soil has crossed that initial threshold into genuinely rebuilt biology, it takes a lot less to hold it there or even pull it back from real decline than it took to build it in the first place. The hard work is mostly front-loaded. What comes after is lighter than most people, myself included going into this test, would probably assume.
Chapter 4. The Three-Way Planting Test. To close this test with the same rigor as every other video in this series, I ran a three-way planting comparison, the same tomato variety planted simultaneously in 3 soil samples: the original dead soil saved from Video 1, the 6 weeks neglected soil saved from the start of Video 8's test, and this corner's current soil 6 weeks into minimum maintenance. The plant in the original dead soil performed exactly the way every plant in that soil type has performed throughout this series: poorly. Pale, slow, struggling to establish, a clear visual reminder of the actual starting point this whole series has been working against since Video 1. The plant in the 6 weeks neglected soil, matching what Video 8 documented, grew as a noticeably weaker version of a healthy plant. Shorter, less vivid, but clearly established and clearly alive, nowhere near the struggle of the dead soil plant beside it. The plant in the minimum maintenance soil was, by every measure I tracked, difficult to distinguish from how a peak recovery plant performed back in Video 7. Height, color, leaf count, stem diameter all landed in the same range as the best results this entire series has produced, from 6 weeks of deliberately minimal effort. Lined up side by side, these 3 plants tell the clearest visual story this series has produced. One soil that was never fixed, one soil that was fixed then left alone, one soil that was fixed then maintained with the lightest possible touch. The gap between the first plant and the other 2 is enormous. The gap between the second and third plants is real, but small enough that a light maintenance habit closed most of it in 6 weeks.
Quick pause before the final read on this one. If this series has actually been useful, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're 9 videos into 10 now, 1 away from closing out this entire curriculum. Back to what this all means. Chapter 5. The actual minimum and why it matters. If you've watched this whole series and felt like fixing dead soil sounded like a full-time commitment, this video is the answer to that worry, and I want to state it as plainly as I can. 1 compost application, 1 mulch top-up, occasional deep watering during dry stretches. That's what it took over 6 weeks to take soil that had genuinely declined and bring it back to something close to peak recovery. That's not a demanding schedule. That's closer to a single afternoon of work, followed by paying attention on the handful of days when your garden is actually asking for it. I want to draw a clear line between 2 different things this series has now tested, because conflating them would be misleading.
Building rebuilt soil biology from genuinely dead soil, the way Video 1 through Video 7 documented, does take real sustained effort. There's no shortcut around that initial threshold, and I'd be doing you a disservice to pretend otherwise. But maintaining that soil once it's crossed that threshold is a completely different, much smaller commitment. This video is proof of that second, more forgiving reality, not a contradiction of the first, harder one. I also think this result reframes something about how to think about garden maintenance generally, beyond just this one corner. The instinct, especially for anyone newer to gardening, is to treat maintenance as a smaller version of the original fix: less compost, less water, less mulch, but the same basic rhythm repeated indefinitely. What this test actually suggests is different. Maintenance isn't a diluted repeat of the original process. It's a much smaller, more occasional set of actions that lean on the momentum the original process already built. You're not redoing the work. You're nudging a system that's already doing most of the work itself. I want to be honest about the limits of this specific result, the same way I was honest about the limits of the neglect test last video. 6 weeks is a real test, but it's not a full season, and it's not a full year through changing weather and changing demands on a garden. I don't yet know if this exact minimum holds through a full year, including whatever winter, drought, or heavy rain looks like where you're watching this from. That's an honest gap in what this test can currently tell you, and I'd rather name it directly than let this result sound more universal than the data actually supports.
6 weeks of a single compost application, 1 mulch top-up, and occasional watering took soil from real moderate decline back to something close to peak recovery. That's the actual minimum this series has found so far, and it's smaller than I expected going into this test. Smaller, I suspect, than most people watching this series expected too. If the intensive work in Video 7 felt like more than you could realistically commit to long-term, this is the more forgiving version of that same result. The heavy lifting happens once, at the start. What comes after is small, occasional, and a lot closer to how most people actually garden than any repeated intensive protocol ever could be. Looking back across this whole series so far, a pattern has quietly built across 9 videos that I didn't fully see coming when this started with a jar of water and a handful of dead soil. Dead soil isn't fixed by any single trick, not compost alone, not mulch alone, not water alone. It's fixed by combining the right elements deliberately, the way Video 7 showed. But once it's fixed, it doesn't demand that same intensity forever. It asks for a foundation, then just enough ongoing attention to keep from sliding backward, exactly the way this video and the last one have now both shown from 2 different directions. There's 1 video left in this curriculum, and I want to use it to bring everything together, every method tested, every result measured, into a single clear takeaway for anyone starting from dead soil today. That's Video 10, and it closes out everything this series set out to prove. If you want the full 6-week data set from this minimum maintenance test, including every measurement referenced in this video, it's in the Soil Intelligence Handbook, linked in the description below. Don't miss out on the final video on this series on soil intelligence. Keep an eye of your notifications. Until then, happy gardening!